Get ready for your daily dose of WordPress and web development tips, tricks, and insights to help you find success with WordPress. You're listening to WP the Podcast with your hosts, David Blackman and Tim Streifler.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of WP the Podcast, brought to you by WP Gears. I'm Tim Streifler. My co-host David Blackman's not with us today due to some scheduling conflicts with David's traveling. He's a digital nomad, and so he's always traveling around. We weren't able to get the scheduling right in order to get these episodes recorded on time, so he will be with us soon, the next wave of episodes. We record these episodes usually about 5 to 7 at a time. So he'll be with us soon. Today's episode, we are talking about the best URL structure for SEO. And so SEO is really important, whether or not you're building a website for yourself or for clients. You want to have good SEO. Now, to be clear, having a good URL structure or really having anything on page doesn't necessarily guarantee success with SEO. It's a lot more complicated than that. You need good content marketing. You need people linking to you. You need to build up a good brand and stuff like that for the search engine to start ranking you. Got to build out that trust. But having a good URL structure is definitely important. And so the way that you do that is through making it really good for the user. A lot of times people will think, oh, you need to have, put in as many keywords as possible in the URL. That's not true at all. Google likes whatever is best for the user, and what's typically best for the user in terms of things like URL structure is making it really simple and readable and clean and not have all these different characters. You've seen some URLs, usually it's some sort of complicated platform that's doing different searches and pulling in different products or whatever, and you look at the URL and it's just a mess, all these characters, and it's like 3,000 characters long, and that's not very easy to link to. It's not, when you copy and paste it just looks messy. So Google doesn't really like that. What they like is simple, readable, clean, succinct, so short and to the point. So if the page is about Orange County, California web design, well then that should be the page title. Web design in Orange County. That should be the URL structure. So you're using dashes to break up words. So, which is WordPress does automatically, which is really nice. So if the page title is Orange County web design, well then the URL by default in WordPress will be orange-county-web-design, Orange County web design. And so, or hyphen, I guess. I always say dash, but it's technically a hyphen. And so those hyphens help break it up and make it more readable and clean for the user. And so rather than trying to make it something like Orange County web design, SEO, internet marketing, in San Clemente, Irvine, blah, 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 and trying to stuff as many keywords in there as possible. You just say whatever the page is about, short, to the point, simple, clean. And that's gonna, it's not gonna necessarily guarantee better SEO, but it's definitely not gonna hurt you. Again, what's better for the user, it's gonna be better for the search engines as well, because they like delivering good, helpful things to their searchers that are using their search engine. And so, yeah, I actually had a client recently that was being advised by another company they were working with, marketing company. I was telling them they have these separate locations, and so they were basically telling them for each of their location pages, rather than just having the city name that location is in, which is what I originally did, they wanted the entire address in the URL, which is just chaos. And the reasoning was that it was going to help with local search and help them come up in Google to find me, local searches, which isn't true. Google doesn't pull the data from the URL. That's connected to Google Places, and Google's smart enough to pull the address from the page, and it doesn't need to pull it from the URL. It's just absolutely bonkers, and it looks messy, and it just is not a good thing to have in your URL structure. And so it got me fired up, and so I wanted to record this episode to kind of share my thoughts. And I did my research to double check that I wasn't saying something inaccurate, and of course I wasn't. It's You want it nice, clean, simple, to the point, and not try to cram as much data into that URL as possible, and definitely not the location address, which it just doesn't make any sense. So anyways, tune into tomorrow's episode. We're going to be talking about hourly billing versus fixed project billing for web design clients. Whether you charge them per hour or you charge them a fixed rate, regardless of how long it takes you. And so, this is something that I feel strongly about, and I looking forward to talking about it. So tune into tomorrow's episode. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
We've come to the end of today's episode of WP the Podcast. Join us tomorrow for more daily tips and strategies designed to help you run your WordPress business toward success. Remember to subscribe to WP the Podcast so you can stay up to date with each episode. And don't forget to rate and review us. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on WP the Podcast.